So in this Smoko Chat, we've gone from one end of the spectrum to the other. Should I quit my apprenticeship to how do I handle the bookwork? Smoko Chat, cue the cheesy intro. Smoko. Hey, I'm Josh, a builder here in New Zealand, and usually I'm doing vlogs about building on the section nobody wanted. This is episode 2 of Smoko Chat. Basically, I'm using this chat in my garage as a chance to interact with you about some of the questions I get over YouTube, Instagram. Last week's episode was all about getting an apprenticeship, how old to be an apprentice. This week, I have a slightly different question from Anonymous on Instagram. And Anonymous asks, I'm an apprentice and I just wanted some advice because I'm thinking of giving it up as I'm losing the passion. And also I don't enjoy one of the old guys that works for us. What do I do as you're a qualified builder? Well, Anonymous, thanks for sending in the question. Obviously, I don't want the old guy you're working with to randomly watch this and know who you are. So we won't say any names or locations, but Anonymous lives in New Zealand. Yeah, so that's a tough one. I think, first and foremost, I think, man, it sucks to be in that position where there's someone older or more senior, not senior as in age, but senior in rank, on site who doesn't have a great attitude and treats you like crap. That really sucks. Fortunately, I didn't really have that kind of experience in my time as a builder, but I did have similar experiences at Macca's, my first career at McDonald's, when there's a manager above you who doesn't necessarily love it and they kind of take it all out on you. If this is you and you're in this position, the first thing I would encourage you to do is think about, you need to go back to your why. Why did you become a builder in the first place? And it truly could have just been an accident. It was the most easy thing to do after school. But there will be something about being a builder that has kept you hooked. Me personally, I'm a big fan of like writing lists. And so when I'm really struggling with something, what I do is go and write down not only do I write down the things I'm struggling with, but I write down all the things that have gone well for me, and it helps to put it in perspective. These are the things I'm struggling with, but these are the things I actually really enjoy about the job. Because when it's in your mind, it's like your blinkers are on, and that's the only thing you can think about. But when you write it down, you get all of the negative and the positive out of your head and onto paper, and it really helps you kind of put it in perspective. Have a think about, is this person that's like picking on you or being a bit of a dick, are they the reason that you dread coming to work? Because in my mind, that's an easy fix, one way or another. In the first instance, I would have a chat to the boss. Hopefully this person isn't your boss. First thing in the morning or last thing before the boss leaves, or when the boss gets on site, just say, hey man, can I have a quick chat to you in your car? Make sure you don't do the conversation around those people, pull them away. If you don't feel like doing it on site, text or phone your boss and say, hey, can I catch up for a coffee and have a quick chat with you? And you need to be honest. You need to say what specifically you're dealing with, who is being a dick to you, and how that makes you feel. Like, I know it sounds stupid talking about your feelings, but this person here is doing this and it makes me feel like crap and I don't like that. And it's now got to the point where I don't like coming to work anymore. And so that's step one. And then basically, if your boss and the other person don't stop, I would seriously recommend step 2, and that is go and find another builder to work for. There is a ton of other builders out there screaming out for good, reliable help, and you will find someone that actually appreciates the fact that you want to be a builder, that you want to work hard. They'll be stoked to have you, and they'll treat you with decency. If you feel like you're stuck in a bit of a rut with your apprenticeship, is it because the work has become tedious and hard in a job? It sucks to say this, but you know, like any job is going to have its days where it's hard and boring and not the most exciting, inspiring thing to do. And it's easy to like jump on Instagram and see all us tradies posting like our amazing shot, but what you don't see is the other 95% of the day where the tradie is just working. And so that's also why that list is important, because it helps you to realize I'm working because I want to do meaningful work and I need money. And I want to do something that's satisfying and rewarding, and then you can choose, is building still that thing despite the tediousness? My last the last thing I'd like to encourage you to do is, before you give up completely, I would encourage you to give it another 2 to 3 months. I would aim to address it before the end of November max. And then I'd say, right, I'm gonna give it December and maybe in the new year, a month into the new year. But set a date and write it down, and write down what you need to see change before that day, and then go back to work and give it your all. Work even harder, try even harder, like get stuck in even more. Avoid that bully on site. Then when you get to your date, say it's January the 31st, and if nothing has changed, quit. Leave that job and do it knowing that you've given it your all, you've put your best foot forward, and it just wasn't, that job and that particular workplace just wasn't meant to be for you. At the end of the day, life is too short to hate turning up to work. Pretty much I'd encourage you to do something about it. Hopefully that helped. So yeah, one more question I've just seen on there is from E. Davidson, and E. Davidson asked, how did I cope with work and study? Awesome question, E. Wonder what E stands for. Maybe you should tell me in the comments below. One thing to point out, building apprenticeship was kind of like my second apprenticeship. As I've talked about, I dropped out of school and started cleaning toilets at McDonald's. And essentially I did a business management apprenticeship with Macca's. And it's actually very similar to the apprenticeship I did for building. Like, you get your 4 folders and they each cover X amount of modules, and then there's practical tests you have to sign off in the store. And then once every 6 months we went to a block course and did a whole bunch of theory study. And basically when I did that, my first apprenticeship, my business management apprenticeship, I would always leave everything to the last minute, and it was always a mad dash. Like, shoot, my books are getting marked off tomorrow, and I'd be up till midnight or beyond, frantically filling out answers and like just doing it all at the last minute. So then as a 25-year-old and starting my book work again, basically right at the start, I committed to myself that I wasn't going to be that last minute guy. And I set up a habit literally in my first week that carried on throughout my apprenticeship, where I picked a night of the week, and I can't remember if it was Tuesdays or Wednesdays. It was when my wife was playing indoor soccer. So she'd go to indoor soccer and I would get out my BCITO folders. I had a mantra, like just one page. I would open it and I would read just one page, or I would fill out just one page. And what I found is often that one page led to another page and another page. And before you know it, I'd read the entire chapter on timber and logs and growth rings and shrinkage. And actually when I finally sat down and stuck my head into it, I found that stuff genuinely interesting. And so I think you have to create time and space in your routine. And I'm not saying it has to be a Tuesday night to be able to do that regularly. If you try and cram it all in just before your advisor visitors site, it's really hard, and you can't just sit down and do it all in one go. You literally have to do it one step at another, after another, after another. For me, I didn't find full-time work and study that hard, to be honest, but it was because I was only ever doing a little bit at a time. Sure, there was still times where like my advisor was coming tomorrow and I really wanted to like get a unit signed off, so I'd put a push on to finish off something because I knew that he was coming and I wanted to get it signed off. By doing that weekly regular time, and it only needs to be 30 minutes or an hour realistically by the time you muck around, but make sure your phone's off, make sure the TV's off, put on some music that you enjoy listening to, but that music that'll help you concentrate. And just get in the zone and read and write, and don't put the pressure on like signing off it all at once, but just do small amounts regularly. That would be my advice for how to handle full-time work and study. So in this Smoko Chat, we've gone from one end of the spectrum to the other, from should I quit my apprenticeship to how do I handle the bookwork. I hope you're enjoying these little 10-minute talks in my garage. If you have a question that you would like me to answer on Smoko Chat, make sure you comment on this or any one of my other videos. I hope you're a subscriber, by the way. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode.